After months of planning and anticipation, we were off to Calgary. We made it across the border, and then the mandatory Tim Hortons stop with all our Canadian currency.
Hi everybody, it's Thompson here in the Calgary airport.
And then settled in for a short flight to Vancouver and then a monster leg to Sydney. We departed on July 18th and arrived on July 20th, so July 19th did not exist for us in 2023. Not that we're complaining.
Hi everybody, it's Thompson again, this time in Sydney. That's all I have to share.
And then we were off on the train to our hotel. But not so fast, my friends.
We're back at International Airport train station, not to get Padre's phone again, but because I didn't get to fully appreciate this spectacle the first time. Take a look at this. It's a sight to see. And that's about all I have. Have a good rest of your day.
The first order of business was food, and we found a delicious little Vietnamese street vendor place. And then it was time for our bike tour and all the incredible, iconic sights of Sydney.
Hi, Hallie Thompson again. We just got done with our bike tour around Sydney. Pretty much epic. I'm in love with the city. Linda's awesome. E-bikes rock. Opera Tower, cool. What is the bridge's name?
Sydney Harbor Bridge?
The Sydney Harbor Bridge, awesome. Right now we're at this cathedral, St. Mary's Cathedral. Pretty cool. Seeing lots of birds. Lizzie, here's an ice cream truck. I see it.
That's a universal language.
Yeah, anyways, catch you later. Hey guys, it's Hallie again. So update, Malaysian food, very yummy. Mountain of yumminess dessert. But
Tasty in our bellies.
Other update though, tummy's so full I could explode. Jet lag hitting hard. Winter also means sunsets early, so that's kind of sad. But here we are, trying to bones
it up as much as we can.
When the bones are trying to leave. The bones feels like it's 3 a.m. Anyways, woo, yeah.
But we had one final stop for the night, the FIFA Center, where we watched Australia kick off in the World Cup.
Fantastic buzz around Stadium Australia. Make no mistake, the weight of expectation on the shoulders of the Matildas.
And then finally to bed. Just 24 hours after arriving in Sydney, we were off to amazing Auckland. It was already dusk by the time we settled in our Airbnb.
Hi everybody, it's your girl Hal. We just got done eating at Cafe Hanoi in Auckland, and that meal was choice as. And that's all I really have for you all. Have a great night.
The next day was game day, and we were out on the streets of Auckland early so we could experience as much as we could.
It's your girl Hal again. We're on our way to an Outlaws event. at Morningside Tavern. Before the game, we just ate breakfast at a little shop. We just ate brekkie at a little shop. It was really yummy. We went in, got some souvenir type things at this cute little shop. And we talked to the people, or the woman who owned it, and she was super nice and so cool. We have discovered that Kiwis are so nice.
Yes, that's very true. And apparently her niece is a ball girl in Wellington.
Yeah, so anyways, that was really fun. Lots of Americans out on the street, lots of pride. People are pumped and jazzed and excited, and Auckland is adorable. I don't know if you can see that very good, but that's the best I can do. Thanks, have a great day. Go USA!
Kind of smile, Dad. Oh wait, that's a video. What do you want to say?
Go Team USA!
What did you say? Girls just want to what?
Win World Cups!
Yeah.
Yeah!
And then after the game, we stayed down on the water and had a nice seafood dinner. We turned in early that night for the adventure waiting the next day.
Hello, it's me again. We are on Waikiki Island. We just got in from the ferry. We're wandering around the village before our zippin' and sippin' experience. So far, I'm a huge fan. It is rather beautiful.
2, 1, go!
Walking out of the 750-year-old rainforest was just about as rewarding as the trip down.
Good news, goes out the worst and steepness, and here it's just good.
We visited 3 vineyards, Stony Ridge, Mudbrick, and Batch, with their incredibly French sommelier.
It means also that with this condition we are quite different. We are more specialized in white grapes. Okay, so big focus on Chardonnay here, guys. I hope you like Chardonnay.
This is Batch. While we were walking in here, one of the workers told us that this is the best view of the island. You're soon going to see why.
It also included an amazing meal at Stony Ridge. So good.
We just finished our zipping and now we're sipping at the first vineyard, and we started talking and chatting with the people next to us. Just casually, where are you guys from? And they say Argentina and Spain. Not knowing it was gonna go anywhere, like you're about to hear this twist. So the woman, she played for FC Barcelona starting at 13 and for like 15 years, I think she said. 16, and then she played with Abby and Carly in North Carolina for a year. New York. Oh, I thought, okay. And then, let's see, where else did she play? Now she just played for, she just signed for Brighton. And anyway, she's here as a football legend with FIFA.
And went to what, 2 or 3 World Cups?
Yep, went to 2019. Both are the ones I realized there's a hair in my mouth. With Spain, and so anyways.
And she also won some Champions League as well.
Yes, you know. So she's the real deal. Euros,
Yeah.
I believe. Anyway, so big deal. And then we're chatting about the other guy, the Argentine. And he played on the Argentine national team from 1995 to 2006. And played with Messi in the 2006 World Cup, and he was the captain of it.
Casually
Drops, yeah, I captained that team. Anyways, and we were just reflecting a little bit as we were taking pictures and taking in the view a little bit. And before we knew all of this information on the bus over here, he's practically crawling over Lizzie to take a photo out the bus window of a beach. And I said, bro, the life you've lived and you need this iPhone photo. And Mother and Lizzie felt they needed to vlog this. So here we are, sipping.
And don't forget Mud the cat. I'm still following him on Instagram.
The view of the Auckland on the return trip and a delicious meal at Nando's capped a perfect day.
Hey, we just arrived in the adventure capital of the world, Queenstown, and so far I am not disappointed. It's quite beautiful and it's very cute, very adventurous so far, and we're waiting in line for Fergus Burgers.
The first order of business in the adventure capital of the world was the Shotover River. It was a lot more amusement park than it was scenic tour. It was a lot of fun, but some of us got a little sick.
Oh, wow.
And then we headed up the gondola for a fabulous view and dinner. Queenstown is a bustling, cute little ski town, ringed by Lake Wakatipu and the incredible, remarkable mountains. The buffet dinner was amazing. We left Queenstown early in the morning. It took 2 buses to reach Lake Manapori. We then took a beautiful 1-hour ferry ride across the lake and took another hour-long bus ride up and over Wilmot Pass to Doubtful Sound on the southern edge of New Zealand. The moss is up to 6 feet deep on the sides of the glacial cut valleys. If it doesn't rain for 3 days, it's considered a drought. It was not a drought on our visit. We took a 3-hour cruise on Doubtful Sound. There was an outside shot where you would see orcas, penguins, and dolphins. We didn't see any wildlife besides birds. It was still breathtaking, one of our favorite days.
We arrived in the world's southernmost capital mid-afternoon and checked into the nicest hotel we've ever stayed in. Fun fact, a little more than a year earlier, I was in Reykjavik, Iceland, the world's northernmost capital. We walked down to the ocean to the National Museum, Te Papa. We hired a Maori tour guide to take us through it. He was fascinating as he told us about the ways New Zealand honors its beginnings. The museum also concentrated on the incredible flora and fauna of the country, and we had a massive display about New Zealand's role in World War II. Super fascinating. Our tour concluded with a traditional Maori meal. The museum was gorgeous at night.
On you across all time to remind you I shall return.
The next day was game day. First, Mom set out early for a chiropractor she found. The game was a rematch of the 2019 final, and it was fiery. We had amazing seats again. It was super fun. And about 15 minutes into the game, my phone blew up when I was on international TV. ended 1-1 as the US allowed its only goal of the tournament. And we didn't get any autographs after the game, but we nearly fainted when Sofia Huerta and Kelly O'Hara waved to us. Wellington is the foodie and coffee capital of New Zealand. The first night, we went against the advice of everyone and had Italian, which was pretty good. We were told not to order Mexican, Italian, or anything like that because they didn't do it that well, and instead stick to Asian. The show-stopping dinner was after the game when we went to Monsoon Poon. Wow, so good. And note to self, remember that the shaken beef is the best kind of Vietnamese food. Before catching our flight back to Sydney, we visited Fidel's for breakfast in Little Havana. It was a great way to end our stay in Wellington.
Lizzie had gotten sick earlier in the trip. By the time we arrived back in Sydney, she was feeling better, but Madre and Hallie were not feeling too good. So Liz and I got takeout to bring back to the Airbnb and then went out to watch a game in a cute little pub while the other two watched a movie and slept.
A great day started with an epic fail. We were trying to avoid all American chains for the entire time we were down under. But our Blue Mountain Adventure Day started early, and Sydney ciders are not early risers. The only place we could go to find breakfast, or brekkie as they call it, is McDonald's. But does it count if they call it Macca's?
Today we are in the Blue Mountains, just taking in the views.
The Aussie bush.
Aussie bush. Yeah, lots to see, lots to do.
Eventually we ended up at Scenic World, an hour or so outside of Sydney. It was a weird little tourist trap where we rode a gondola with a great view of the Three Sisters and the Jameson Valley. The world's steepest railway and the Southern Hemisphere's steepest aerial cable car. The rainforest at Scenic World was also beautiful. The eucalyptus trees that the koala bears munch on were absolutely breathtaking.
So is that the head?
We then drove to a nearby nature park and saw Catatumba Falls. Random, I know, but everybody back home was jealous of us.
Oi! Hey there, team. This is a eucalyptus. You know that because of the way that it is. Here we've got a sulfur-coloured cockatoo with that big, beautiful yellow head feather. Thanks for listening, team.
But the highlight was Featherdale Wildlife Park. As a science gal myself, this was my favorite part. We got to see the wildlife of Australia up close and personal, where we even got to feed some of them. We saw rock wallabies, kangaroos, wombats, amazing birds, including a casseroy, which apparently is vicious, and a bunch more creatures. Ren was a great tour guide. For the day, we were her little baby platypi.
Hey, buddy.
We got to feed the kangaroos and patamelons, which we're still not sure what the exact difference is besides their size. And there were penguins. And Ren, and our favorite, these guys. We wanted to take one home. They all looked like stuffed animals.
I wouldn't say he woke up. I wouldn't say he woke up.
Rin came to get us, and she was running, just like she said.
And if you look closely, one has a Joey. We then took a ferry back to Sydney Harbor into Bongaro Bay, where we had Indian dinner in front of an astonishing sunset. Then we made our way back to our Airbnb through Chinatown for the last time.
Hello, we are here on Manly Beach. We just finished snorkeling at Shelley Beach. 10 out of 10 experience. We've made a full recovery and remembered how to be land mammals again. But yeah, we
just touch and go for a second. We forgot how to use our legs, but now we remember.
Yep, my toes turned yellow, but they're back to their normal shade. But yeah, let's see. We kind of aren't very good at snorkeling, but we saw a Port Jackson shark. We saw a big blue fish that was very cool.
Blue groper.
A blue groper. We saw a big red fish. Anybody know the name of that one?
No.
We saw lots of little striped ones. I saw something I've seen on Little Nemo before, so that was fun. And
it really brought our Sydney experience to a good, I don't know, satisfying sort of, I mean, we're close to the end, you know, because most of what I knew about Sydney before coming here was from Finding Nemo, so.
Yeah, so then my favorite part of the whole experience was listening and looking at the reefs. I was very obsessed with that. Padre, what was your favorite part?
The blue groper was amazing. And also just, the turkeys were pretty cool. I know it was an underwater experience, but the overwater experience of looking at some bizarre turkeys was cool.
Yes. Lizzie, your favorite part?
Well, I'm really glad that we made it out alive, especially after we saw a great white shark.
Also known as a Port Jackson harmless shark, but we go with great white.
Yep.
Yes. So I'm really happy to still have my life after that. And I also really enjoyed, just seeing the reef and seeing the sea sponges, because I taught my 7th graders about them this fall or this spring, and they all thought it was pretty exciting, especially when I sang a little bit of the SpongeBob theme song to them. And so that was a fun little full circle moment that I got to see them in real life.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Have a good night.
Our final night was mighty Germany against upstart Colombia. The crowd was 89% Colombian. They were electric.
Okay, we're just hopping on to do a quick walk about the game. So right now we're watching Germany versus Colombia, and I just wanted to say we started off very neutral. We didn't know who we were going to go for, but now it's pretty solidly for Colombia. Vamos, Colombia!
Linda Cacheto is the darling of Colombia. She turned pro at 14, beat ovarian cancer at 15, and stars for Real Madrid and Colombia at 18. They love her. And now, so do we. She did this to put Colombia up 1-0. And it looked like it would hold until 3 minutes left and disaster struck. Then came the miracle. think they heard the roar in Bogota. The trip home started with a rush of adrenaline when Liz forgot her purse with her passport across the massive Sydney airport, and she realized it as we were preparing to board. She made a long sprint and found it in time. The flight to Calgary with a layover in Vancouver was the longest hour of our lives as we took off at 9:30 a.m. and arrived at 10:30 a.m. Hallie was the only one who could stay awake, so she drove us back to Great Falls. And now we're just left with the memories.
Petting the kangaroos and the pademelons, because it's this type of experience that I've dreamed about since I was little. Second, I would probably say the Colombia versus Germany game, because the atmosphere there was so crazy, and it was so beautiful to be able to see so many people there cheering on those women in such a positive and powerful way. It was also so cool to be able to see Linda live and in person, and it made me a forever fan of hers.
I really liked that we almost exclusively walked or took public transportation during our 2 weeks, as it gave us such a better sense of the people and the place. And the people of both countries were so genuine and nice. I also was captivated by the birds and the trees. Fiordland and Waiheke Island were my favorites, besides the food shared with great company. Prawns with young green rice at Cafe Hanoi, especially.
My favorite memory from the New Zealand-Australia trip was the U.S. game versus Netherlands in Wellington. It was really fun walking over there because there were so many supporters from both teams, and it's just always a really fun experience with like everybody shouting like the USA chants, and there was also so much orange support there too. And then I also just love being able to see my heroes, and it was really cool now in hindsight because we got to watch Julie and Kelly's last games with the national team in the World Cup, and those were some of my favorite players. It was also just really, really cool to see live Lindsay Horan's legendary goal after being pushed down by her teammate. And yeah, just really cool energy, especially after Lindsay's goal.
The Zip and Sip Day was absolutely my favorite. Everything just was awesome. From the ferry boat ride over, the quaint town that sits on Waiheke Island, the zip lining with Spider, the actual wine tasting with our new famous friends, Vicky and Juan Pablo, and of course, I can't forget to mention Mud the Cat, who we met at the last winery and I'm still following on Instagram. I also want to mention the e-bike experience in Sydney. It was such a great way to learn about the city on the first day that we landed. But really, there wasn't any of the destinations that I didn't enjoy. It was such a great trip filled with all of my favorite things: adventure, soccer, and Scott, Lizzie, and Hallie.